we have some conflicting reports about Alex Bregman coming to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and those reports are coming from the same station. So we are going to try to sort through this and figure out if Bregman really makes any sense for Arizona. And we also have more on MLB centralizing minor league player data. Is this good for owners and bad for players? Sounds like it. We're talking about all this in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. Happy Monday to you all. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It is I, your mayor of Christmas, occasionally known as Derek Montilla. Thrilled to be here today. Thrilled to be representing my beloved sod poodles. Shout out to my wife for this amazing hoodie that I'm wearing. Shout out to all of you. I hope you all got everything you wanted from Santa under your Christmas trees and various gifts, stockings. It doesn't matter where you're getting your gifts. Hope you guys got spoiled. I got the one guy that spoils me on the ones and twos today. It is the one, the only, the Damon Farrell, aka the Damon Dawg. Merry Christmas to you, pal. Hope you had a good one down there in Tucson.
Merry Christmas, Derek.
I know we chatted briefly on Friday's episode, but we were both very sad because neither one of us got Pete Fairbanks under our Christmas tree. We were sad about that. And now the Pete Fairbanks signing has been made official with the Miami Marlins. Blech. Gross. And, here we are a few days from January, and there are quite the long list of players that are still free agents out there. We have one Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette, Cody Bellinger, Framber Valdez, Ranger Suarez, old friend Zach Gallen, Eugenio Suarez, another old friend, and JT Realmuto. We talked about bringing Suarez back, even though, of course, that still seems like it's going to cost entirely too much money. It would solve their issue at third base. And to be honest, even in talking about it, Gino kind of seems to make more sense than an Alex Bregman deal. But that is the only thing that people are talking about. Reports all across Major League Baseball have Alex Bregman now linked to the Arizona Diamondbacks. It doesn't really feel like it's picking up any steam. We still haven't seen too many reports that really link many facts to this, much like the Ketel rumors, though it does come back to Dan Bickley's report. And we now have conflicting reports kind of from the same radio station, a place I used to work over there at Arizona Sports 98.7. Dan Bickley, during Bickley and Murata on, I believe this was Wednesday or Friday of last week, he said, I think it's a matter of time before they get Alex Bregman. I think that's a done deal, to be honest with you. Now, again, this is pretty much a full-on confirmation, right? Like this would seem to be, even though there is the word I think in there twice, and that does a lot of heavy lifting here. Bickley is giving what he feels like is an accurate report here that the Diamondbacks are in fact pursuing Alex Bregman and that the deal is done. Interestingly enough, John Gambadoro actually, I'm not going to say contradicted that, but again, John Gambadoro kind of had a conflicting report with this, suggesting that the sides aren't really close, and also suggesting that perhaps, if any kind of deal with Bregman does get done, that Ketel Marte move would be necessary. Gambo said he wants 5 years and all this money, which is not in the wheelhouse of the Arizona Diamondbacks, so the numbers would have to come down. They'd have to get very creative, and that's on the Diamondbacks end, right? As far as structuring that contract in a way where it's not at least cumbersome to the Diamondbacks in 2026, considering that they do not seem to have very much money to spend for that season. And also, something that has some deferred payments in it, as we've discussed, right? But Gambo, I think we have some tweets here overall here from Gambo, but
yeah, we're gonna get him here in a second.
Yeah.
It does feel like deferrals would have to be a part of any sort of Alex Bregman discussion.
Right. That's what Gambo said on Gambo and Burns, and then he went on to say on a tweet, "Have never ruled it out. Still think it's a long shot, but not impossible. But yes, would depend on a Marte trade for it to happen. Don't see it happening unless they move Marte." So that right there, I feel like that this is requiring a Marte move to happen first, I imagine. Like I said, there is, I don't know, a lot to this and a lot that doesn't make sense, right? I don't really understand why Ketel Marte has to be moved in order for an Alex Bregman deal to happen. That's the part that I still can't wrap my mind around. I do know that as Marte gets older, that this contract, like a lot of players right now who have long-term deals with their teams, it wouldn't look as attractive, right? But at the same time, as has been discussed time and time again, Ketel Marte, as far as what his statistics are, what he is as a player, is far more valuable than any other player that you could probably get on a similar deal, unless that player is still within that first contract range after being first called up by a major league organization, right? So, but Gambo again says that he hasn't ruled out the idea of bringing Alex Bregman to this team, but he did say this. I think this was the other one from Christmas Day. He said, back to work after 2 weeks off. Thanks, Gambo. We appreciate you getting back. All quiet on the Marte front. Not a lot gets done during the Christmas holiday, as many of the power brokers are traveling. I do expect Arizona to land a bridge closer, someone who can close games until Puck and J-Mart get back, then fall into a setup role. And we have our guy Jack Summers suggesting that bridge closer is going to be the new hot term for us in Arizona here in 2026. But,
oh, man. This fan base is going to love that.
There's going to be so many memes. We're going to
get some guy with like a 4.5 ERA and call him the bridge closer.
That's where we're at. But again, Bickley's comment says, I think it's a matter of time before they get Alex Bregman. Recent reports suggest that there's a scenario where the Diamondbacks can hold on to both Bregman and Marte. But again, Gambo kind of shot that down. Marte, if they bring Bregman here, as far as Gambo is concerned, it's a done deal for Marte. None of this makes any sense. None of this is something that the Diamondbacks need to get into, and I kind of hate it. I'm with Kobe. Kobe says, just give me a bullpen, please. Just give me pitching, please. Just spend this kind of money elsewhere. Maybe it's easier if Bregman does, in fact, want to come here. That seems to continue to be part of this entire equation, is that Alex Bregman wanted to come here last offseason. Alex Bregman wants to come here and be a part of this with Corbin Burns. Alex Bregman wants to come here this year. He likes Arizona and wants to play here. I still have this one thing that I can't get over, right? This is a 31-year-old player who opted out of a 2-year deal worth $80 million. $40 million a year? $80 million remaining on his contract for 2 years with the Red Sox. The Red Sox are not a bad organization, right? So it's not a situation where it's maybe toxic or, you're sick of losing, so you want to get out of there. The Red Sox have been active in the free agent market, and they've been trying to pursue some big name free agents. They also have themselves, exciting young core of players that they're adding to that team as well. I don't know if Bregman is opting out of having 2 years and $80 million left to take some sort of discount with the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's going to take $160 million, and at the very least, as far as the discount is concerned, it's probably going to be 5 years. So maybe it's spread over and the annual value is less than 2 years and 80. It gives Bregman, some peace of mind to be paid that much money over the next 5 years and have some deferral payments taking care of you and your family for, a long time beyond your playing days, beyond this 5-year contract. I just can't imagine the Diamondbacks giving this much money to, no offense, a guy who put up these numbers in 2025 with the Boston Red Sox, right? We're talking about a guy who has good numbers, fine numbers, 273 batting average, an 821 OPS, 62 RBI, 1 defensive run saved, 3.5 baseball reference WAR, right? He is a great player. Maybe on the verge of being a good player.
Yeah, I would say great is even fair, but is he a $30 million a year type of player?
40.
That's the
$40
question.
$40 million a year.
I think on a longer term deal, we're looking at 30.
Yeah,
30 for 5, 30 for 6.
My point being is what his contract was. We have no idea what his contract is going to be, but this man,
it's not going to be 40 million APY,
right? Unless
it's on 2 years, like something similar like
that.
But
also, why would he opt out to take that elsewhere? This isn't the Boston Red Sox opting out. It wasn't a team option
because
right?
he wants the long term, his last long term deal of his career.
I get it. He's 31.
31.
Right.
He's going to get like a 5-6 year deal, and that's pretty much going to be it for him.
Right. Maybe he gets a 2-year deal or 1-year deal after that. Maybe whatever. Right. But that is what these players are trying to do. They're trying to secure their future, and I think a lot of them are trying to do it without having to play into their age 42 and 43-year-old season. Like some of these guys on these 15-year contracts and stuff are going to be so old by the end of them. I can't wait for those days to come for those teams.
Bryce Harper?
Yes, exactly.
Like how old is he going to be when that contract is up?
I think 40? He's going to be 82 years old by the time that contract is up. But I don't mean to attack Alex Bregman. I just bring it back to the Diamondbacks being in a position of such need as far as pitching is concerned.
39 for Bryce Harper, by the way. That's what he's going to be at the end of his contract.
God, yeah. And that's it. I mean, pitching is what we need. I can understand Ken Kendrick maybe wanting to try something different after pitching burned this organization. I don't mean that as a pun. That was a terrible pun. I didn't mean to use the word burned, but it's the best word I can think of, right? The Jordan Montgomery situation, Corbin Burnes, neither one of those guys really worked out. And it's not to the fault of Corbin Burnes that it didn't work out. You could maybe even argue it's not to the fault of Jordan Montgomery it didn't work out. It's just one of those things that perhaps based on those situations not going the Diamondbacks' way, that now they're trying to look if they're going to spend money and spending it a different way. This offense was fine last year. This offense might even somehow be better this year, especially if guys can find a way to take a step forward that need to, right? Like a Alec Thomas, like a Jake McCarthy, Blaze Alexander. These are guys that if there's, not to say Blaze, but if Alec or Jake are still a part of this organization, the Diamondbacks need them, and they need them to be better than they were last year, right? So I don't know if adding Bregman is going to be the thing that rectifies this team as much as going out and acquiring pitching. I also don't know what to think about these reports conflicting each other. Like Bickley is Dan Bickley, right? He is a well-known, media personality here, and he has really good sources. His information is solid. I know that sometimes, especially in this case, he might just be going on, how he feels about it. He might just be thinking this is how I feel. But still, like I said with the Ketel Marte trade rumors a long time ago, you can't ignore this stuff when there is so much like smoke here, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. With the Marte trade rumors, I want to shoot them down. I hate them. I hate Damon for making me talk about them. Damon will tell you. In fact, can we give a round of applause that we got between one show and another show, an entire weekend came and went without us having new Ketel Marte trade rumors? That's something to celebrate.
It is pretty crazy. Right? I was expecting it this morning.
I was expecting it. Who's in now? Mariners are all in. Now the Yankees. Sorry, Yankees, you're on the no trade list. Sorry, I hate to tell you that. But again, it just, none of this makes sense.
Did you see the Yankees fan that was talking about getting Gerardo
Perdomo?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing I'm sick of is these damn fan bases thinking that they could just poach all of our players and the Diamondbacks are in some sort of weird rebuild. We're not that, and we're not going to be that. We might be that in 2028, but we got a lot of time between now and then.
He was offering us the Martian, bro.
Yeah, I saw that. Get your ridiculous trade proposals out of my mentions. Lose our number. But
actually, if you call about Jerry, never call again.
Yeah, if you call, if you call and you don't joke like about Jerry, like, haha, what about Geraldo? Nah, I was just joking. Anyway, but the Bregman thing again, one thing that I think most fans hate about this idea, what most fans can't wrap their mind around, much like myself, much like Damon, is looking at the idea of Bregman versus Marte. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, again, there must really be, if that's the truth, if that's the case, then there must really be some ill feelings towards Ketel Marte.
100%, because they're nowhere near the same caliber of player.
No,
if we're being completely real,
there's no reason why you would upgrade or change your roster for this. Again, Marte's contract makes more sense. Bregman's really doesn't. The Diamondbacks don't have money to spend. The Diamondbacks have far bigger needs than third base. I would argue that even first base might be a need for them, which is something maybe Bregman could play in the future. I've said that before. Like,
he could, yeah.
There's no doubt that could be the option of the future if they decide to maybe go with Blaze at third base. It just still doesn't make any sense, especially if you're going to bring Bregman in and change his position as well. Ketel, as Kobe said right there, is far better and far cheaper. And also, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I don't, because none of this makes any sense. But again, the talk of Bregman to Arizona continues. It's seemingly hot, and it might actually happen. The biggest regret would be if it has to happen, or if a Marte trade has to happen in order to accommodate it, or in order for that to be what the Diamondbacks do.
But that will determine what my feelings on a Bregman signing would you know what I mean? Like, if it means Ketel's gone, I hate it. I think it's terrible. I think it's a bad trade-off in that regard, and the fact that they're being seen as like comparable to me is just not true.
Well, and I don't think that's, again, we keep coming back to that, and it's because the two deals are somehow tied, right? It's not necessarily the case. It just kind of means that the Diamondbacks might be trading Marte, and then they might want to, add to their offense, add to their position players with Bregman. But yeah, I mean, that the problem is that no matter how this shakes out, if that is the way they go, if Bregman to the Diamondbacks happens and Marte is traded, it's always going to be viewed as a comparison between Bregman and Marte. And it's always going to be, I guess, looked at as, why did we go with this guy over this guy, right? Bregman's put up impressive numbers in his career, but again, he's not the guy that put up an 8.9 WAR and walked 119 times in 2019, right? And he's probably not going to be.
That's 6 years ago. I mean, and he's still a good player. Don't get me wrong, but we're a far cry from prime Bregman at this point.
They are both the same age. So there's that we don't really address often enough. Like, I feel like we make Bregman into like this ancient old man, and that Ketel Marte is young. They're both 31 years old, right? So there are some things there as far as like going in that direction that doesn't feel like it's that big of a drop off. But again, Marte is a guy that has had a history of like season sub 2 Baseball Reference WAR more than above 2, right? So Bregman has had that consistency throughout his career. I just hate it. And I don't know. I mean, this would be a huge shakeup for this organization. And again, like Damon said, it really comes down to what the haul would be for Ketel. But it would be hard for Bregman to be, I think, embraced by this fan base should all of that go down. I also don't love any of this, like, still not making any sense, but that's just me looking at the finances, looking at what the Diamondbacks had to deal with, and again, looking at how they could spend that money in other ways at this point to improve the overall roster, right? The bullpen still hasn't had an addition. We now have, again, the bridge closer coming in to be the guy that helps this team close out games until AJ Puck or Justin Martinez comes back. And that bridge closer is not going to be the big name that was available on the free agent market that we were hoping to see this Diamondbacks team go after, right? At this point, Sir Anthony Dominguez that we talked about on Friday is looking more and more likely. And there's other guys still that weren't even as good as him that might be options for this team. But
I mean, at this point, Sir Anthony Dominguez is like, now he's the pretty girl at the bar.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I would die for him now
100
at this point.
Yeah, like everybody who keeps becoming the top option, Derek, I think just starts to look prettier and prettier in mine and your eyes. Sir Anthony Dominguez, I mean, what a baller, know?
Yeah. Katie comes back to the I'm fine with him taking approved days off. It's inhuman to not want people to have a couple of days off, just all above board. Yeah, I guess that really is what it comes down to.
But
right?
He needs to notify his employer. That is
it's a fireable offense in most jobs.
It's
right?
That's a big difference differentiator. Like I think the D-backs are the type of organization where if he was struggling, I think that they would say take a couple of days off. But the problem is that he got on a plane and they had no idea.
Right. Well, don't you think it was further exasperated by him actually getting robbed and then having that be the reason that people thought that he missed time only for it to not? Maybe I was just a naive one that believed that was the one reason he missed time. But it was like,
well, it seemed like it on the surface. I felt like
that made it worse because then you find out that he wasn't, in fact, at his home here in town that got robbed. He was, in the Dominican, right? So yeah. But I don't know, man. Again, that Ketel has been a delight to be around as far as my perspective. I have covered this team for a very long time, longer than I care to admit. There's entirely too much gray in this little mustache. But I will say that, Ketel, as far as relationships with his teammates, being, I guess open to media, even though, at times he doesn't feel comfortable speaking in a second language and things like that, needing a translator. Like Ketel's just always kind of been great. He's always been somebody that seems to, get along with everybody, get along with even the opposing team, and just kind of bring a smile to people's faces, However, sometimes you might get too big, even for yourself. And it did feel like this was a moment where that might have been what happened for Marte. I was there when he apologized. His apology seemed sincere. It seemed like it was something that he regretted having happened. And, most importantly, he hated the way that, everybody now perceived him to be a bad teammate and a bad, employee of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So I don't know, though. I'm with Cool Bro here. 2026, no more superstar trade rumors. That's our New Year's resolution. Trust me, Cool Bro, as much as I would like to make that my New Year's resolution, Damon will not allow it. He will not allow it.
Well, I mean, if they're going to be peddled, me and Derek are going to talk about it. Sorry, guys.
That's right. We gotta do what we can to keep these rumor mill churning, right?
We gotta keep the lights on.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. Speaking of keeping the lights on the other side of this break, we're gonna talk about Major League Baseball centralizing player data from the minor leagues next year, and why it might be good for ownership and very bad for players. We're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, the holidays are over and 2026 is right around the corner. It is a great time to get started on your home renovations and home repairs, and let the Window Depot be the place you go to get everything you need. They have way more than just windows, by the way, whether you're looking for countertops, doors, skylights, sinks, everything. They have tons of inventory in stock and ready to pick up today. And they are a contractor's best friend. Contractors love the Window Depot for their job site ready quantities, unbeatable prices, expert service, and most importantly, no membership being required. You don't have to be a contractor to stop by the Window Depot. You can go there today and get everything you need for those home renovations you're looking to accomplish in 2026. They started in 2002 as a window store, but they are way more than that now. So stop by today, check out their unbeatable prices, and get your home ready for the new year. The Window Depot, more than just a window store. Stop by the Window Depot's 7 Arizona locations and see for yourself why they're more than just a window store. And of course, we love our friends over at Branded Bills. Branded Bills has the best hats you can find. We have, of course, some PHNX hats from our friends at Branded Bills that look incredible, feel incredible, and again, are some of the finest hats you can find. They have partnerships with the Phoenix Suns as well as ASU and U of A as part of their campus collection. So head on over to brandedbills.com. Check out their website if you're a hat aficionado and get yourself hooked up with some amazing new hats from a local company right here in Mesa, Arizona. If you are a company looking to have your brand stand apart from the crowd, look no further than Branded Bills. They can get you started today with a custom headwear order, and they have, of course, lots of options to choose from, whether you're looking for snapbacks, fitted hats, truckers, it doesn't matter. They have t-shirts, they have bags, they have everything you need. Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Head to brandedbills.com and use that code of BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. Well, it's obvious Big Jake Franklin in the chat wants Ketel Marte out of here, right? It's obvious. Jacob Franklin says, just remember, as sucky as it is, they aren't looking to trade Marte because of his skills. They're looking to trade him because of his attitude. I think we know that, right? He's not wrong about it. But I will also say, like, the Diamondbacks are a team that value character quite a bit. They've talked about it. They've talked about it time and time again, that is something that's very important to them. And we've seen it. We've seen certain clubhouses that don't have that kind of, demand for players to be their best, to give it all to the organization at all times, right? But like, again, that is something that's highly valued in this organization. It's a big reason why, the Diamondbacks made it as far as they did in 2023, and why Tori reminded us that an effing connected team is an effing dangerous team, right? But at the same time, maybe Marte is seen as being a problem. There's been certain verbiage and things used in interviews and such that you could probably pick apart and find things said even by some of his teammates that might be referring to him as far as, feeling like he's not being a good teammate or not all in on this with the rest of his team. So I don't really know, but I do still feel like it's a conspiracy theory, Damon, and I am becoming a conspiracy theorist lately. I thought that all of the conspiracy theories that I could be a part of were already kind of identified, but I'm finding new conspiracy theories to believe in. Damon today filled my head with all of these theories about the Titanic being a setup. It was sank on purpose to help create the Federal Reserve.
Correct. Yeah, look into it, guys.
Oh
Shady stuff.
I hate how confident he just said, yeah, look into it. There's lots of websites on it. There is. About it.
I like Reddit. Reddit's one that I peruse quite a bit. JP Morgan didn't end up on the boat, Derek. Coincidence?
I think not. New favorite conspiracy I found is that they're no longer teaching children cursive in school so that the future generations cannot accurately read historical documents. That doesn't feel like a conspiracy theory as much as it just feels like the truth. That's it. Killer X says Ketel doesn't have an attitude problem. You all just have a Ketel problem. That might be a conspiracy theory. That might be pretty good. Eno Saris over at The Athletic had a report about some changes being made to Major League Baseball, and there might be a conspiracy theory to be had in here because, as you may know, organizations that have more money than organizations that don't have, guess what? Better technology, better information. Wow, imagine that. You just have the fact that some teams have more money, thus they can analyze players better and get more information on them, know when a player is maybe going to be a bust, know when they're not, all of that kind of stuff, right? And it's all of the organizations that you can imagine, all the teams that have all of the money and spend it in the proper ways, right? So basically, deep-pocketed organizations, according to this report from The Athletic, have always gained an advantage in recent years by flexing their financial muscle in the minor leagues. They can spend more money on cutting-edge technology like high-speed cameras and motion capture technology to gather in-game data. They also have the ability for AI to analyze players and take a look at their pitching form and their structure and to see if there is potential for an injury in the future or, whatever. I've talked a bit on this show about Steven Strasburg being looked at by ESPN at one point on their sports science segment during SportsCenter. and a long time before he started having pitching or significant injury issues. They kind of showed at that point that his pitching form, his motion, the way that he, that submarine or sideways kind of style did not necessarily equate to a very long career. And it was funny that they were just kind of putting that on TV and sharing that information with all of us. But now what's happening next season in Major League Baseball is all of this information gathered by all of this cutting edge technology that bigger organizations with more money have to spend will be shared with all teams among MLB. Beginning next season, Major League Baseball will regulate the in-game technology available for use across all minor league parks. Multiple league and team sources have told The Athletic. The move is designed to bring parity and quell what until now has been an unchecked arms race, meaning that some of these teams that literally have like MRI machines that can scan a player on the field, they have to share that data with everyone now. Major League Baseball spokesperson wrote in a statement confirming the change, "We are taking this step to ensure that all 30 clubs are working with the same set of information as they make baseball operation decisions." However, information is the most vital part, I feel like, of owning an organization and managing an organization. Am I wrong, Damon? Like, is information not king? Is not like, that is the way that organizations can fleece other organizations based on what they know about a player. It's the way that, I mean, I get it as far as trying to make it fair, but is information not the most important thing in this entire game besides money? And even then, you could say that information has an impact on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a slippery slope, right? Because I understand what if you listen to what Foul Territory says and what Eric Kratz was saying, like it makes sense why, it seems like a bad idea, right? Because now MLB controls basically all this like secret information that is, well, and that's what I expect. All this secret information that, like necessarily wouldn't be known without this data. And so now, like, I guess in arbitration hearings and whatnot, this can be used against players to, dictate values. It seems like it's just a little bit of an unfair system for the player side of things.
I mean, now
it makes sense from the organization standpoint why they would want to do it.
Yeah, Eric Kratz at Foul Territory was very much against this. He said on yesterday, or was it today's episode?
Yesterday.
Yesterday's episode. He suggested that the shared usage of this data will only help owners and teams control players' value. And that's not wrong, right? Like he's definitely onto something there. Teams can absolutely control players' value overall with the idea that they all know everything about these players, and also can have like predictive AI now get involved and try to determine if a player is going to have a future injury or just have durability concerns, all of those things which are only going to further lower a player's value. And none of it is stuff that, again, one team has to share with another team. In doing so, though, creates this idea that the player's value can be undermined, essentially, by everybody involved to a certain degree. And this especially impacts players on the free agency market having that, right? Like other teams could essentially know exactly why a team is trying to trade prospects away to them. And I don't know. I mean, all of this just seems like it's a way for owners to not have to invest in players because they have technology and information that's been shared with them by other teams that would somehow tell them that a player isn't worth the money that they're trying to get paid. None of this is impacted by the performance actually on the field. And we're just getting so deep in the weeds that these players players' value is being tied to what artificial intelligence would suggest about them. Or, I mean, in some cases, a lot of this is good data, but data that necessarily other teams wouldn't have if it wasn't being shared by the team that drafted them. And if that team has good technology, then it's going to be even more information available and, I don't know, cause more doubt in some cases on a player being able to have a healthy long-term career, right? It just seems like it's bad for baseball in every potential way. And as much as it sounds like it's fair, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's other ways to do it, like limit technology where teams aren't allowed to use more advanced technology than one other team or whatever. But even that seems stupid. If you have the ability to go out there and find some sort of new technology that helps you scout and understand which players are potential breakout stars and which players are potentially going to have an injury riddled career, there's no reason for you not to use that. It just still doesn't mean that any of it is reality. It sounds like so much of it is predictive and it's just going to cause players to not be seen as being worth the amount that they are. It also just, again, overall probably is really, really irritating to the teams that do have that amazing technology out there that they have to share with other teams. Book's Journey asks, do other sports not do this? That's a great question. I mean, baseball has always been weird. So things in baseball like a salary cap and other things that all other sports do seem so foreign and weird in baseball. But yeah, I mean, Kobe here says, not going to lie, I hate this. This is a competitive sport. If you have some advantage due to being smarter and investing in it, that's your info.
I said the same thing.
Exactly.
I said the same thing. Like, I know as much as like of a Dodgers hater and stuff as I am with like the, how much I think the resources differential in baseball needs to be fixed. This seems like something that it's like, you're just not trying if you're not investing in your farm system, in your minor leaguers, in your data department. Like, that's all things that are controllable and will help you have a cheaper team in the future.
Right.
So like if you're the Pirates, for example, that was the example I used, Eric, and you say, we're not investing in this because we don't want to spend the requisite money, but also we don't want to re-sign and extend our players, and we're going to trade Paul Skeens before we have to give him a contract.
Right.
It's like, what exactly is the goal then? Because you're not doing anything to try to win. You're laughing in your fans' faces.
Well, and I mean, the other side of this too is that I don't know, man. Like some teams, like MLB has to approve of your in-game technology now, which apparently they didn't have to before, Damon. That seems weird, especially considering that like we do see the other sports kind of control everything. Doesn't the NFL have a thing where they have cameras in certain stadiums, but since they're not in all stadiums, they can't use those cameras for actual decision-making purposes or something? I think it might be down like the sideline or something like that. That seems like on par with this just a little bit, but it sounds like NFL and other leagues do a better job of that. Right now, teams that have made significant investments into some of this technology may be required to remove it from their minor league stadiums. So just taking a step back to what I said a second ago, like not only are they like reducing the advantage that one team might have over others with the technology, but they almost want to dumb it down. So now that information isn't available. Like MLB will have to approve in-game technology being used by teams and technology vendors. So this is going to prohibit them from necessarily even having amazing advancements made, right? Like maybe a team like the Dodgers, which we all hate, boo, like maybe they want to invest in some sort of amazing new technology that could revolutionize scouting players. Well, they're not going to be allowed to use that, right? And so then that revolutionary technology doesn't get introduced in baseball, doesn't prove that it can work, doesn't then get accepted by other teams, and then doesn't get implemented throughout the league because it comes to be so valuable, right? We are literally like dumbing, it feels like we're dumbing ourselves down here. We're dumbing the sport down. We're dumbing the amount of information available down. But overall, it just feels like this is not a great step for baseball to be doing this. And I kind of agree. I think that overall, it's just it's more than the fact that it's going to limit players and their value. It's limiting technology and the impact that it could have on scouting the game, right? Even if that technology might be unfair to players because it can look inside your shoulder and see that in 3 seasons you're going to need some sort of rotator cuff surgery, or can look at your ligament and be like, that thing's holding on by a thread. You're a rat, buddy. Like, these are things that teams would probably love to know, though. And again, we don't know if we'll get that technology anytime soon based on baseball kind of doing this and making this move, right? But there has been a vocal subset of owners that have wanted to limit front office spending for a while, and we know who it is. We know who you are. You don't have to tell us that, but that's where we're at here overall. So I kind of agree with Eric Kratz. I don't love what this does for baseball players themselves. However, organizations, fans that are fans of those organizations, none of us want to be duped by a guy that an organization ends up spending a ton of money on, only for that player to have a injury you might have been able to know about using current technology, and then having it go the wrong way for them. So it is what it is. Baseball continues to try to fix the game in the wrong ways, I guess, and make it more fair, but we'll see what kind of long-term impact this has on the game. Hopefully I'll be around long enough to discuss that at a later time. But we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of this break, you know what we do on Mondays, and we're going to get to it. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Arizona Lottery, they want to give you money, obviously, but they also want you to win free gas for a year. I don't even know what I would do with free gas for a year. That is like, as far as I'm concerned, getting a raise, getting a promotion around here. But of course, it would be nice to not have to worry about those increasing prices of gas that go up and down. We all have to get everywhere. Like, you can win some money from Arizona Lottery, but you could also win gas for a year. Our friends at Arizona Lottery want you to know that 2 Players Club members will win gas for a year from Circle K. All it takes is 100 Players Club points. And of course, it's this simple. All you got to do is head to your local Circle K, pick up a $10 lottery ticket, then enter it into the Players Club at azplayersclub.com to receive 10 points per dollar spent. Boom, you got your 100 points, and you can instantly enter to win gas for a year. Make sure to enter by December 31st, 2025 for your chance to win big. And we will hear from somebody. Hopefully it's one of you that wins gas for a year in 2026. Also, you already know that Phoenix Raceway is one of the best places to go for, of course, crazy fast action. And Phoenix is one of the best sports cities in America, especially during the spring. And it's Phoenix Raceway is about to raise the bar to a whole new level. For the first time ever, NASCAR and NTT IndyCar Series are racing during the same weekend at Phoenix Raceway, and you can get a front row seat to all of it. Nothing delivers the intensity of race weekend. The engines firing, the smell of the rubber, the crowd erupting as the field charges to turn 1. It is an extraordinary experience to be there in person for. And if you want the best access in motorsports, you can go inside the garage, walk the track, meet the drivers, and catch pre-race concerts. It's amazing. I had a blast doing it, and no sport brings fans closer than that. So upgrade to the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, and more importantly, get your tickets right now. The 2026 Spring NASCAR Weekend at Phoenix Raceway is making history with NASCAR and NTT IndyCar Series sharing the same track on the same day, and you'll be able to say you were there. At NASCAR and NTT IndyCar Series Weekend at Phoenix, March 5th through March 8th. Secure your seats now at the link in our description. Big Jake is suddenly back on board with Ketel Marte. He's been wavering on this podcast, Damon. He says if Marte stays, mark my words, he will go down as best offensive snake of all time. Make up your mind, Jake. Pick a lane. What are we doing here? Do you want him to stay or do you want him to go? It feels like you were holding the door open for him to get him out of here. You know? You and Killer X were both doing that, but
Killer X does hate Ketel.
Oh, he hates
it's
him
pretty
more than
sad.
he hates Tori. It's crazy. But this day is not about hate. This day is about love, because you know what we do on this day. You know it's Monday, and you know what we got cooking around here. Every year on this show is still the year of the snake, no matter what the actual astrological year is supposed to be. Every month on this podcast is Hispanic Heritage Month. Every week on this podcast is that fun week between Christmas and New Year's where nothing really matters. Every day's a Friday, and you can drink starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. But every day, still Earth Day, because Damon and I recycle. On Mondays, however, we go to the mailbag. Damon, let's go to the mailbag.
Always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox. And then once in a while, there's a letter that makes me go, wow, wow, my mailbox.
All right, what do we got here in the mailbag today?
Our first question is testy, Derek. I didn't realize that it was so controversial here.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Travis Moore wanted, I don't know if he was trying to become the enemy of this chat today.
It's crazy.
It is a crazy question. He starts off and he says, Bregman supposedly wants to sign with Arizona to settle down there. Outside of spring training advantage, I personally don't understand the appeal. Lived there my whole life until September 2025. I love my D-backs, but really have never liked the state, nor understand why people do. And then later goes on to ask Derek, can you defend wanting to live there?
Can I defend wanting to live in the greatest state in the United States, Damon?
Isn't that wild?
Do I even have to? Do I even have to? Let me ask you, Travis, when you were here, when was the last time some sort of weather event tore the roof off of your house? No, never, because there's not tornadoes or hurricanes here. The only thing you have to worry about is ensuring that your AC unit is working in June, July, and August. And I mean, if you don't, then you're taking your life in your own hands. Arizona is the greatest state to live in. I will say that Dodgers fans and people from California are making it worse in general, but overall, what an amazing place we live. Can we first talk about the grid system, Damon? Can we talk about the grid traffic system?
The grid system is nice.
Where everything's a square and avenues start at Central and go west and streets start at Central and go east. It is so easy to find your way around here. I guarantee you go to any one of these other pathetic 49 states and try to find a grid system as efficient. I don't even need GPS. I can look at an address and know where it's actually at. I, yesterday, spent the day outside in shorts on December 28th, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I had a little hoodie action on with my Arizona Cardinals jersey that made me equally sad to be wearing, as does that team in general. But this is an amazing state to live in. You have everything up north. You can get away to the beautiful mountains. You can go to snow. Sedona, one of the most magical and beautiful places in this entire country. People travel from around the world to come here for the Grand Canyon. It is the #1 vacation spot, according to some sort of BS report I just saw the other day. I don't believe it. It's just a giant hole in the ground, but still, people come here for it. They have to see it. Arizona is a wonderful place, and I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to because he's sitting right here. Even Tucson and southern Arizona, beautiful. Cuisine, mountains, wonderful places like Bisbee. I'm not going to throw Tucson in there, but I had a great time in Tucson multiple times. And in general,
it's beautiful. The desert in southern Arizona is absolutely beautiful. It's greener than you could ever imagine a desert being.
Now, I will say that there are very many things about this state to not like, as there are in all states. But overall, I just feel like
it's a good place to live.
I've lived a lot of places, and I did not enjoy living on a day-to-day basis in any of those places as much as I've enjoyed living in this fine state. I've lived here for most of my life, so you're definitely going to have a hard time convincing me otherwise.
I mean, it was like 70 degrees on Christmas, Derek.
It was beautiful.
There were people, I was with some people that were like, oh, I wish it was colder. And I'm like, okay, hell no, you leave. Go somewhere else where it's colder then. Because guess what? I'm taking my 70 degrees in December and I'm running with it.
I'll tell you, where the saguaro cacti, they are magical and they only grow here for a reason. And that's because this is a magical state. We are a magical place. And again, if you don't love it, I'm not going to tell you to get out, but I understand. I understand, definitely. I just think that if you're talking about someone like Alex Bregman or an athlete that's lived elsewhere, I'm sure based on how much money he has, there's an income tax thing to living in Arizona. I think that the idea that you and others might have of people living in Arizona might be different than the situation. Like, there are a lot of players that permanently make their homes here, and then they go play for Boston, or they play for Seattle, or they play for Miami. And that's a lot. I mean, it's not the smartest move. Don't get me wrong. Like, again, I'd probably buy a house in the state that I lived in, but with sports being the way they are, you could be paying a lot of money to move here, move there, getting new interest rates, doing all of that stuff. Like, it's easier to have a base location if you know there's a good chance that at least for a month out of the year, you are going to play in this state for the whole month. Arizona is a great place to live. Plus, it's, again, it's not very expensive to live here versus living in other places like, California or New York or other things. Yet it still offers you, very close access to all that. Quick trips to Vegas, quick trips to LA. I mean, again,
San Diego.
Never have I ever wanted to live place else that like could be close to those kind of places.
I thought you were saying you've never been to San Diego.
Oh, no.
I was like, what?
No, mentally in my mind, I'm in San Diego quite a bit. Actually.
Yes.
I love those beaches. But again, I don't know. Like we usually very much value Travis Moore's leadoff questions. This one seemed very antagonizing.
You know what? Sometimes your leadoff hitter strikes out in 3 pitches.
I don't love it, Travis.
Every once in a while, Ketel walks up there and he just swings out of his shoes 3 times. And
wait, hold on. Let's talk to pimp a bloatfly. Let's talk about that. No daylight savings time. This state refuses to bend the knee and succumb to the will of farmers. What other place do you want to live in that refuses to be a part of something all the other states are a part of? I love it. We're rebels here. That's what we are. All right, what else we got?
Man, I knew that was going to be controversial. I was just like, what?
I am ready to go already. God.
Right? That was crazy. You're coming at what we love, Travis. You can't come at
2 guys that love Arizona as much as we do and expect us not to be furious about Sonoran dogs. There is a Filiberto's everywhere. What are we even talking about?
You said it, Derek.
Try to find some freaking good Mexican food in North Carolina or someone else. Cool Bro says the sunsets. I mean, the sunset. They're so beautiful that we don't even think about how great they are. The other day, the sunrise, when I had to leave super early in the morning, was breathtaking. It was breathtaking. It made it a joy to be outside and going to Walmart for last-minute gift shopping at like 6 o'clock in the morning. But all right, what else we got? I got to move on. I'm fired up now.
For sure, I get it. Coming back to us here, T-Backs podcast. Do we prefer Goldschmidt, Okamoto, or a Mountcastle trade for first base, or is there a reason to have faith in Pavin?
Is there a reason to have faith in Pavin, Damon?
I mean, There's reason to have faith that Pavin will have like a good stretch where he convinces everybody in the fan base that he's actually him for like 25 games.
I'm that one. Okay, cool. Cool Bro might need to be blocked from the chat. We do not have Filiberto slander on this program, even though they're not an advertiser with us at all.
Nico's is better. Tucson ball knowers get it.
Oh God, this is.
We just have better food. It's okay.
There it goes. It's going to get down to that. I think Okamoto, if I'm taking a look at that list, Okamoto would be the one that would appeal to me the most. I think the reason why is because of the unknown there.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like a Mountcastle trade feels like more of a discard from an Orioles team that is trying to get better at first base and do not believe Mountcastle is the future of that position anymore. It's not to say like an opportunity here in Arizona wouldn't completely, change that. And I feel like a Mountcastle trade, very reasonable, right? We're not talking about trading Ketel Marte for Mountcastle. We're talking about perhaps that could be the Jake McCarthy or Alec Thomas trade. Maybe that's something that fits with the Orioles a bit more. Goldschmidt still feels like the most likely option of those, I guess, besides just having Pavin Smith here. Pavin being our first baseman, along with, Tyler Locklear when he returns, still feels like the most likely scenario. Next would be Goldschmidt. Then I would rank the Mountcastle trade just before Okamoto. I do like that Diamondbacks have been connected to him, and I do like that some people feel like it's a good fit. I also think that is a route where the Diamondbacks could get the most in return for the least spent. I still don't know what his contract expectations are or what he'll actually land in or where he'll land and for how much, right? But I feel like the one that would excite me the most there is Okamoto. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, I think the unknown aspect of it, like you said, like he maybe he could be something a little bit more and could be for a little bit longer term than a Goldschmidt. Right. I think Mountcastle is interesting. He's not a bad player at all.
I agree.
I think it makes sense maybe for the Orioles to move on after they get Pete Alonso, although Alonso could DH, definitely factors in as like a DH. But last year Mountcastle didn't have a good season at all. Only played half the year, but the year before he had a 271 batting average, a 733 OPS, hit 13 bombs, 63 RBI. I mean, he's okay. I would trust him more than Pavin.
Yeah,
I would, but I don't know what the cost to get him would be. Okamoto would definitely, I think you're right about that. Like that, the highest upside is there. So I think that's what excites you the most.
Yeah. And again, that's kind of what I've said in general about bringing players back. Like, I'm thrilled to have Merrill Kelly back. And I still think as far as what they spent, Merrill Kelly was the best available option.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's just hard to get excited about Merrill because it's like, getting excited or expecting different results with the same pieces. That's where it's hard to get excited. Even if a guy might have worse numbers, right? You still feel excited about adding that new arm, that new person to this team. And you think as a fan, hopefully they can turn it around. They can be what they were at the best part of their career. Devin Williams is a perfect example of that. He's a guy that like the Diamondbacks could have signed. And despite how bad his ERA is, people are going to remember those golden years with the Brewers and feel like he could come here and be that for us. They might not be wrong, or they could, and he could post a 4.5 ERA again next year and just kind of be bad. So, again, the excitement there would be with a new face. Ryan Mountcastle makes things a little exciting, but that seems once again like more of a cast off from a team that upgraded that position, right? So very hard to get too excited about that until we see what he could do on the field. What else we got, Damon?
Next question here. That's our last question. Sorry about that. Give me a second.
You got it.
It's from Karen. And Karen wants to know, Karen here in the chat, by the way, which D-backs player / prospect do you think will have a breakout season in 2026? Very interesting question. I like this question.
I do too. I like this. And I guess it's kind of hard. It feels like Jordan Lawler is the name that instantly comes to mind. I don't know why. I don't know if that's me being hopeful or that's me actually thinking that he could have the breakout season. I don't.
Would you say Jerry had the breakout season of last year?
100%. Yeah, no doubt. I would say Blaze started to, right? And everything Blaze did started to become exciting. So I don't know if you would say that was a breakout season. Cool Bro in the chat says Gabby. I think once again, Gabby kind of had his breakout season. It's not about the breakout season. I think it's about like what you can put together also beyond that. Well, Gabby had an incredible season for the Diamondbacks. He just hasn't really had that since that season.
I mean, he had a good season. I think that we were projecting him to be better and better. He obviously won the Gold Glove, which was a big deal. I think, especially as a rookie, winning the Gold Glove is pretty massive. But I do think that Gabby, like, he does have the potential to take it to the next level.
Yes,
like a Jerry did. Yeah. Jerry was an all-star in 2023.
Right.
I mean, whether that was deserved or not, we could split hairs, but he made the all-star game in 2023. I guess technically that would be his breakout, but really it was his his 6-7 WAR season that he had last year is his true breakout season. I think that you could see Gabby potentially just stay a little bit more healthy, stay a little bit more consistent, and maybe be like a 15, 20 plus home run guy, and that in and of itself would be a huge jump for Gabby to boost his power numbers. We've seen him have that power before. He just hasn't really put it together. I like the Gabby addition. I think that the best one for the Diamondbacks, if I'm being idealistic, who would be the best case scenario to have a big jump from what they were to what they could become?
Brandon Pfaadt.
100%.
Brandon Pfaadt?
You read my mind. It's Brandon Pfaadt. It's. I don't even think it's a question because we have him extended. We have him long-term already set. We know that he has potential to be an upper rotation level pitcher, but he's just been so damn inconsistent, whether it's giving up 10 runs and getting 0 outs or, having, just complete meltdowns where he gives up 3 bombs in an inning and then he goes out and he shoves the next game.
Yeah.
And you're like, what happened between then and now where you just were 2 different pitchers? I think Brandon Pfaadt, if he can give you a under 3.5 ERA, you know what that would do for the long-term future of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization? So that's what I want to happen. I think that's
big game, Brandon.
That's different than what I think will happen. Do you have any thoughts on someone that you think could break out other than Lawler? Maybe
I still think Ryan Waldschmidt, if given an opportunity at a major league level, could be that guy that just becomes that instant superstar. You know what I mean? Just a breakout star that comes up to the major league roster and just sticks. I think that could very much be that. Another guy that I believe in, have always believed in, and this could finally be the breakout season for him, Dre Jameson, going back to pitching. when you hear other organizations are
please.
taking a look at Dre Jameson and kicking the tires on him as a starter, what are the Diamondbacks truly doing with him? Is he a starter? Is he a reliever?
Please.
We know he has the makeup to be a closer. We know he has the physical, chemical makeup, the head, the mind, everything to be a closer, right? I mean, he went through a lot of injury things. They thought that he needed another Tommy John surgery, but it ended up being like bone spurs or whatever in his elbows. So, I mean, again, I just feel like with what I have heard about Dre, what we've seen from him, talking to him, like he is a guy that's poised for that. He is like at a point in his career where it is almost put up or shut up time for him as well. And he has been talking a lot. I mean, he is a guy that truly believes in himself. So I think that he is a guy that could be a game changer for this bullpen. It's the reason why we might not see this team make many moves this offseason when it comes to that bullpen, because they might feel like they have some guys that can internally be good and be a bullpen for this team. We might not believe in it, but the way they look at these players, the way they value these players, completely different than the way we as fans do. So again, a lot of times these organizations think that this is going to be the breakout season for so many guys. And honestly, with the young arms that the Diamondbacks have in the bullpen, it could be any of those guys. Right?
Yeah, I think Ernesto says that that's what he wants to see happen. And then he lists some guys here: Dre Jameson, Brandon Garcia, Andrew Hoffman, Juan Burgos, Gilbert Diaz, and Juan Murillo. Like, those are all young pitchers that have stuff that you would at least, be intrigued by. Yeah. I think Abner you can throw in there as well, probably, right? Like, there are a few young relievers on this team who, maybe you could bank a little bit of potential on, and you're going to need a couple of those guys to step up. I think that's fairly likely to happen.
Yes.
That a couple of, because they're just going to have the opportunity. They're throwing darts at a dartboard. Eventually, you're going to land a couple. You know what I mean?
You gotta. And I think, like I said, with all due respect, I think some of those guys did deserve it. Super bad Andrew Hoffman was really good at first. I felt like Brandon Garcia was solid throughout his entire time in the bullpen. Numbers don't indicate that any of these guys right now were studs for this team in 2025. It doesn't mean that they couldn't be studs for this team in 2026. They have the experience. They shake off the whole major league call-up, I'm new to this team, I'm new to this organization thing. And once they can kind of get comfortable and settled in, then maybe these guys can be the bullpen of the future. But I still believe in Dre.
I do really like that question. Just to round it out, I think that if I had to pick a prospect, I would go Waldschmidt. Not that that's like a hot take, but I just get there's a vibe around Waldy, Derek. There really is.
I know.
I think he's him. Like I feel like he's he actually, to me, I have a lot of faith that he's got a pretty high floor, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. He's an SEC college player. He's moving through the system really quick. He's pointing to me, he's checking all the boxes of a guy that I think is going to be a damn good player. And if Gurriel is out for any extended period of time, I want to see him get a shot. I really do. He's going to have a chance to make the spring training roster, to make the MLB roster, as Jesse told us, in spring training. So I hope we get to see it. I hope Ryan Waldschmidt doesn't play for that team that you're wearing all that the gear of ever again, Derek. I want to see him in the Reno Aces at minimum, and then I want to see him on the Arizona Diamondbacks as soon as possible.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Our guy Jake Oliver in the chat says Okamoto meeting with Arizona is great news. This is actually some breaking news that we got right now. Kazuma Okamoto is reportedly in the U.S. for in-person meetings. His posting deadline, Damon, is at the end of this week. Potential suitors listed: Blue Jays, Cubs, Red Sox, Diamondbacks, Padres, Angels, Pirates. So we are
happy to be here.
Just happy to be a part.
He's going to be an angel.
He's going to be an angel. He's going to be an angel.
He's going to be an angel.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry to let everybody know that now.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I don't know. Again, Cool Bro suggested not taking him to Filiberto's. I might just take him to Filiberto's, see if I can change his mind on.
Man, what do you think? That would be a crazy video. I would love to do PHNX Sports takes the new Japanese signing to to a Mexican food restaurant.
Hell yeah.
He's just he's eating it and he's like, what? I've never experienced anything like
magic.
Yeah.
Well,
that'd be electric.
I do want to talk about some Magic, by the way, before we get on to our next question. And the Magic is coming out to have fun with us. There are not a lot of Cardinals games left, thank God. But for some of the remaining away games, we can still get together as a family and lament about how bad our football team is. Join Bo Brock, Johnny Venerable, myself, the rest of the PHNX crew. Noah's out there causing problems. It's a great time. We are all out for the ultimate Cardinals away game watch parties at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, Wild Horse Pass. And Damon, on my way out, stopped by, visited with some buffalo, dropped $20, won $110 on my way out. So not only did I get some great food, great drinks, and hang with some great people, but won myself a little cash on the way out the door. We have live pre, half, and post-game PHNX Cardinals shows. We also have food and drink specials as well as PHNX giveaways. Our guy Ryan Hanley won this one. Shout out to our guy. He's right there. Here he is. When you're there, your family. There's our guy, Ryan. Immaculate vibes as always. And, of course, we have one more watch party left, January 4th versus the Los Angeles Rams. So come on out. It's a free event. RSVP for our Cardinals game watch parties at gophnx.com/events. And yes, I am $90 richer, but still, nonetheless. What do we got still in the mailbag, Damon?
Our next question here, and again, I did it again because I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, you're a bad guy.
Fleaball, who I believe is also here in the chat, as always. Saul Frank has closer stuff, right?
Oof.
Let's just call it now. Also, where is Tawa playing in 2026? He needs one position to see what we have in him.
I have some bad news for you about Tim Tawa. He is going to continue to play everywhere. And unfortunately, I think that's because he's proven that he has value doing so. Right?
Yeah. Like, I think that's the type of player
utility.
For sure, where it's like his avenue to the majors is that he can play wherever Torrey needs him to. He can slot in any spot on any given night in the lineup, depending on injury, rest, you name it.
Yeah.
And so I think that we just need to see him be consistent at the plate. And it's a hard job and task to have when you're that utility guy. But
yeah, 100%.
I mean, like if he has something more, he'll prove it, I feel like, in his, ABs that he gets. But he has to also compete with like a guy like Blaze for that utility role, I think.
Yeah, I think Blaze will get more defined role. I think Blaze will probably stick to third in the outfield.
As of now, I think Blaze is the third baseman.
I think so too.
But that could change.
Yeah. And then in regards to his first part of his question, we have not talked about Andrew Saalfrank enough and what he did in the 2025 season. In the we're past an hour. Can I curse now, Damon?
I think you can kind of curse all the time.
In the dog shit season that was the bullpen, there was this glimmering light of hope, and it was Andrew Saalfrank. He posted a 1.24 ERA in 28 games and 29 innings pitched. He had a 3.31 FIP. Incredible. He was amazing. I mean, he was simply amazing. He posted a 1.6 baseball reference WAR in 29 innings.
Damn. That is pretty crazy.
Right? So, again, this is one of those guys that, again, because of how bad the rest of the bullpen was, he kind of has been lumped into it, but he was incredible for a stretch, as were a few other guys. I mean, there was, especially in that second half when the Diamondbacks made a true playoff push, there were a couple of guys that were a big part of that. Nabil Krismat, who, as they mentioned in the chat, signed with, I believe, was it the Rangers signed Nabil Krismat?
Yes.
And then, again, Andrew Saalfrank, incredible. Even Erod, even Eduardo Rodriguez, who we're going to talk about here in a moment, was incredible for a stretch against some of the best teams in baseball. But it's about replicating that and about having that be, what Saalfrank, can do throughout an entire season. His time with this team has definitely a dark cloud hanging over it with those. With the suspension due to, the betting situation, right? So
I mean, I know it was a stupid mistake, but I more feel bad for him than anything about that, because I don't think that he really did. He thought he was doing anything wrong. Well, you know what I mean?
Yep. And I mean, I also think that this is a guy who, again, still has a tremendous amount of value to this team and kind of is flying under the radar right now due to that whole situation a bit. So. I think this is a spot-on assessment. I agree with Fleaball that if nothing changes right now, there's a good chance that we'll probably see Saalfrank in the 9th and like Ryan Thompson or Kevin Ginkel in the 8th? Like that feels like where we're at.
I think people are a little too low on Ginkel, honestly. He had 2. If you
Damon,
look at
Damon defending a U of A guy.
if you look
How
at his
am I surprised by this?
Well, I first off, it's been disgusting the way that people talk about Kevin Ginkel,
I know,
a guy who was
gave us so much, and now you fickle fans turn your back on him.
I mean, was the key cog in our bullpen in the 2023 playoff run. He was the best pitcher in the bullpen. He was better than Ryan Thompson. He was better than Paul Sewald. So, like, he had great seasons in 23 and 24. If you look at his underlying metrics, Baseball Savant lines that up. 2025, he was hurt the entire year.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's over for Kevin Ginkel. I think he could have a bounce back season. I think Ryan Thompson is decent, and maybe he took a step back from what he was when he first came to Arizona, but he's still an okay pitcher. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think Andrew Saalfrank is a solid pitcher. And hopefully he continues to give you what he gave you in very short amount of innings last year.
What else we got there, Damon?
Next question comes from Michael C. Why doesn't the Diamondbacks do a salary dump for Erod to sign Bregman? If only it were so simple, Michael.
If only it was so easy, right?
If we could get rid of Erod, I'd do it in 2 seconds. We still have how many years on that contract?
Just one.
Is that right?
Yeah, just one.
Thank
I believe.
God.
Eduardo Rodriguez. But it was a 4-year contract.
So I think it's 2, right?
Yeah, 2027 is when it's over. Yeah. So,
a conditional mutual
option. Yeah,
option.
it's a mutual option for 2028, which
good luck, Erod.
That's a wrap on that one, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the 2026 and 2027 seasons will be with the Diamondbacks. And I mean, again, he's owed $21 million in 26 and $19 million in 27. It's not absurd, right? We're seeing contracts in baseball kind of come down. So
it's absurd when you have an ERA of 5, though.
100%. So how do you get somebody to take it?
Exactly.
Right? Like that's really what it comes down to.
He literally had a 5.02 ERA.
You would need him to go on another stretch like he did that I was discussing at the end of last year and then trade him at the height of interest being in him before he can, become inconsistent. I still believe in Eduardo Rodriguez. I still think he hasn't been healthy. That's what I think. Whether that's true, whether it's just me making up fairy tales, but that stretch when we were covering him and I was calculating his ERA after a couple of games and everything was just looking so good, it's hard not to wonder if he can replicate that, which was not that long ago, over the course of a season. Yes, he's going to have bad games. Yes, he's not going to be able to do that every single night in and night out. But if he could have more stretches like that rather than it just being against a five-game stretch, and maybe if he can do it against all teams and not just the best teams in baseball, similar to what we saw at Zach Gallen last year, perhaps Erod could still have tremendous amount of value there in the starting rotation. He's never going to be your 1 or 2 starter, right? But he definitely could still be much better than a 5 ERA pitcher. And that's what I think that, again, that he can add. Plus, again, Fleaball's absolutely right. We do need a lefty in the rotation, at least one, and that's what Erod gives us. And again, I might be smoking that Erod Copium OG pack for sure. I mean, it's a all-in-one device, and it's got smooth hits. But
dude, I'll believe it when I see it, Derek. I can't believe in Erod.
I know,
right now.
And nor do I feel like he's given Diamondbacks fans anything to necessarily believe in, right? But overall, like the course of his career, it's not like he's been that much better. His last season with the Tigers when the Diamondbacks got him, he had a 3.30 ERA in 2023. So you think about adding that to a team that was so short on starting pitching and still made it all the way to the World Series, and you feel like even if he's not a 3.30, even if he balloons back up to 4.05 like he had in 22 or 4.74 in 21, it's still not awful. But yes, it was awful. 5.04 in 24, 5.02 ERA in 23. My other problem with Erod, if you really want to talk the other direction and get me so angry, Damon, what you're doing, his FIP for 24 and 25, 4.57. Both seasons. Exactly the same FIP. Exactly. It's hard to not believe that that's exactly what he is. 4.57 FIP.
He's not a good pitcher. I don't really know how else to say it. I don't have faith that he's going to be good. I think he could be exactly what he has been for us, which is maybe an innings eater for half a season because he'll get hurt. It was a terrible signing, and honestly, we should have seen the signs. The fact that we bought as high as we did on Erod, he had a 3.30 ERA. He turned down the Dodgers in a trade. We were fired up. Stupid decision. We should have never been fired up about that signing. That was not a good signing.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's valuable resources because we don't have a lot of $20 million a year contracts that we're paying out, Derek. Like, if we didn't have Erod, we legitimately could have another star on this roster. That's not an exaggeration. We could have, like, Edwin Diaz.
Shut up. Cool Bro in the chat says, Meet the Grams by Kendrick Lamar, but for Erod. Oh, my God. Take that mask off. I want to see what's underneath them achievements. Why believe you? You never gave us nothing to believe in. Yeah, maybe he's right. I might just be, in fact, too hopeful, too positive. But what else we got, Damon?
Our next question is from Jarmy, and Jason wants to know, given who is left in free agency, is there a scenario where doing nothing else is better than just doing a signing for signing's sake? Signing for signing's sake is hard to say 5 times fast. Go ahead, Derek.
It is.
Try it.
I agree. I kind of feel this way about Alex Bregman, don't you? Don't you? Forget Ketel Marte, getting rid of Ketel Marte. Don't you sit there and wonder how the hell it makes sense to add Alex Bregman? And don't you feel like maybe, just maybe, not committing that much money to him might be the better move? I don't know.
I feel like if you told me,
if it doesn't involve trading Ketel, it's a completely different scenario
for me.
Right? I mean, no, for me too. It really is. But like I've said time and time again, I just hate this. I hate this. This is needing to do renovations, having our friends at Window Depot help us here. But you want to go spend $5,000 on a front door, and we have so many other things to fix in this house, Damon. We have so many windows to repair.
We do need a corner infielder, though, Derek. We do. It's not like that's not one of the needs that we have. I feel like you very clearly, and I'm not saying you're wrong because I think that I actually would lean your way as well. But I think you very clearly think that Blaze Alexander has a better shot of being the long-term third baseman than Pavin Smith does the long-term first baseman.
Yes,
1,000%. Or Locklear. We'll throw Locklear into that as well.
1,000%.
Because I think that you consistently keep wanting a first baseman more than the third baseman. But I think that you could make the argument that they need both. Mm-hmm. And Blaze could move to the left field and be flexible a little bit more so if you wanted him to. Bregman later in his career could move to first base, as we've mentioned in this show already. I think that Bregman would give the Diamondbacks like the best offensive infield in baseball. Perdomo, Ketel, Bregman in one infield. I mean, that's something to hang your hat on. If it meant we didn't have to get rid of Ketel, I'd be all in on it.
Yeah, but I mean, that does start to make you feel like we are a team competing and contending in the NL West.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right, but
I think, Sean, I hear you, and I think that there's always that risk when you're the Diamondbacks because we are just so bad at signing big free agents.
Sean says Bregman would end up being Erod in the form of a position player.
I just think Bregman is more consistent than that. Like he go look at his stats. Even in his down seasons, he's still a good player.
That I agree with.
Whereas Erod in his down seasons is literally the worst starting pitcher in baseball last year. Literally, not an exaggeration. Like 5.02 ERA. Gallon, Fott, and Erod just competing for worst starter in the league, and so I think Bregman has a much higher floor than Erod does personally.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. All right, what else we got?
Our next question.
We're keeping people entirely too long.
No, we're having a good time here, Derek. We're having a good time, and I did it again.
It's all right.
We're going to James Sargent. And James wants to know, when will the D-backs ever prioritize a bullpen? It literally has been an issue since the inception of the franchise. Mm-hmm. Pitching is like the trenches in football. You have to build there and make sure you have good starters and relievers to compete for a title.
100%. 100%.
Jimmy's spitting.
He is. And he's also right about it literally being the issue since the inception of the Diamondbacks.
Very true.
I mean, it's why we've joked so many times on this show, maybe not joked, maybe joked isn't the right word, addressed the true matter, which was the Diamondbacks sacrificing their bullpen soul for Randy Johnson to come out during the World Series and win that baseball game for them. But yeah, I mean, it's been a problem for a very long time. And it's the reason why a Bregman signing upsets me so much, right? Like, because there's so much good pitching available out there. We have a guy like Tetsuya Amai who wants to do nothing more than come to the United States and bring the Dodgers to their knees. And we aren't going to sign a guy like that. I give him everything. Sean brings up the Iceman, Matt Manti. I love Matt Manti, but even his numbers, when you go back and look at them, aren't incredible. In fact, Byung-Hyun Kim, probably one of the best closers we've ever had.
Absolutely. Like top 3. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
A top 3 closer we've ever had is known for choking in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's the state of this history of bullpen that we have in Arizona.
100%.
And it really is, Derek. I will say, like, the Diamondbacks didn't need to go out there and sign 5 bullpen pitchers this offseason. But
one?
it's shocking that Mike Hazen didn't get one of the premier available options. Yep. It makes no sense to me how we don't end up with Pete Fairbanks or Luke Weaver when those two are basically the final 2 options available. Get one of them, Mike.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah, I completely
send a
agree.
message to this fan base, and maybe the young guys step up and are pretty decent. But I just think that you needed to get a one piece in the bullpen.
I've had this wavering kind of like feeling about this team, and again, Mike Soroka, I was interested. I'm just interested. I don't feel a certain way about it, but I do feel like Soroka could be a very interesting piece that at the end of 2026, we're talking about how valuable in addition to the starting rotation that guy is. We already know what we're getting in Merrill Kelly, so I'm very, very satisfied to have him back. And as far as heartwarming stories are concerned, there is none better than that. It's the reason why I would love to have Paul Goldschmidt back. I think he has value, and I think it's a great story for this team. But overall, yeah, man, I don't feel like they have addressed the bullpen nearly enough.
Well, they haven't done it at all.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay.
they haven't done a thing.
Fair. Fair. And I don't love, again, even some of the rumored moves that they're tied to. I don't know what they're doing. And, Jacob said it earlier, but I guess the disrespect by Ketel Marte and such is far more than most of us might know. And how much, again, that Marte trade is viewed as being necessary for this team to move on and be competitive in 2026, even though the rest of us are left sitting here going, why the hell are we doing this? Why are we even talking about this? But anyway, let's get one more in, Damon. Let's get out of here.
Last question from Austin. Before home game giveaways are announced this year, what would be one that gets you super excited? Darren?
Are you kidding me? There's no there's no giveaway that would get me more excited than James McCann armbands. Sexy man Jimmy McCann armbands.
A bobblehead of him flexing.
Let's go. I don't know. Like, I still think some of the best giveaways in Diamondbacks history are very unique to this team.
For sure.
And I just don't know if Major League Baseball really wants to do that. Like, everything is so repetitive in Major League Baseball. I want more, Haboob sand globes, and I want Gonzo the Muppet in representing Gonzo the human.
Gurriel hair.
Yeah, Gurriel hair was great. Gurriel hair is legit, and that needs to be something that like they give out at the door. What else could they do? Like something for Perdomo and frogs, right? There has to be a frog next year of some kind. If there's not a frog, what are the Diamondbacks even doing? Anything you can think of?
Man, a Ketel Marte bobblehead. Thoughts?
He's in the Dominican?
No, he's in an Arizona Diamondbacks uniform.
Oh, well, yeah,
and
that 100%.
And we're giving them out because he plays on the team and he's batting leadoff tonight, playing second base. Just a thought.
Yeah, I'm down for that 100%.
I feel like we could think of something else good though. I like the James McCann like the fake buff arms that you wear on on Halloween.
Yes,
do that for James McCann.
I think they need to give away rattles. I think they need to do it like on opening day. Yes.
Could you imagine how electric that stadium would be?
42,000 strong shaking rattles at the opposition.
Best home field advantage in ball. Yeah.
Let's go.
That would be electric.
Yeah. I mean, I know we can buy it in the team shop, but let's just give those away. Let's hook them up every fan on opening day with that. But we thank you guys. I'd give you guys the world because you guys are here sharing your time with us. We appreciate you guys doing so. We will be back tomorrow with a 12 p.m. episode. I do believe our guy Jesse Friedman will be here once again in studio to discuss probably these Bregman rumors, probably some Ketel Marte rumors, and hopefully some new information about this team. We'll try to do our best to figure out what this bullpen is going to look like in 2026. Until then, you can follow all of us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dawg with a DAWG at the end. And as always, we're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. I said bark, bark. Okay. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but all roads, as always, lead to PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, we thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. And until then, we hope you all have a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves, Scotty Mack, you gorgeous SOB. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you don't upgrade to a player that's going to cost you more that might be worse than the one you're going to get rid of.
We all silly like the mayor.